Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the new normal, exploring infinite possibilities. I'm Renata.
And I'm William.
And the title of the show today, we always have a little something to share with you. A little crack lets in a lot of light. How's that for us?
And did you know where that came from?
No, but share that with us, please.
Okay, there was a lady in London, and not a young one, and her grown adult daughters took on the role of parenting her. And so they said, we're going to sell your house and put you into a healthcare place. And she said, well, first I'm going on vacation. So she went to Findhorn, Scotland, bought a house, went back to London and said, I sold everything, I'm moving to Scotland, onto the Findhorn property. And the daughter said, Mother, you must be a little cracked. And the mother said back, well, a little cracked lets in a lot of light.
That's a good one, isn't it?
Yes.
And we talked about that the little crack letting in a lot of light. It also lets out a lot of shit.
A lot of poop, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what that little crack is. Could be a multitude of things.
It could be
the opening to another dimension.
It could be laughter, could be that crack.
It could be, oh, absolutely.
Laughter's a good crack,
I could bend over.
Personal laughter at someone else, it's all good, The point is, we want people to start to use their abilities
Exactly.
in terms of ascension, in terms of, creating a new story.
Because we're being told everything is so serious that we forget to laugh. And we forget to laugh at ourselves.
Oh, please laugh at yourself.
And that's why I made that comment. Make things funny. Even if people think you're strange, that strange is a little cracked.
That strange is a little cracked. I mean, learn to have some you don't have to learn anything. Excuse me, wrong word. Have some levity.
Yes.
Have some levity.
Mm-hmm.
Because that can just come in at any time. It's precious.
Sure.
It's precious stuff.
And the more you do learn from the experiences, there's always the possibility that the day will come when you unlearn it.
Exactly.
And then you learn it again.
And then you learn again in a different way.
Yep.
But it seems like there is this, in our metaphysical community that we come from, this idea of ascension, being so serious about ascension. What about that? You know what I mean?
Well, I think in terms of BS, HS.
BS, HS, I hear you. I mean, it's so curiosity is natural.
Of course.
And you're aware that you're curious. That's a really good thing.
Well, I tell people in my workshops, these are things that work for William. And some of these things worked a different way 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. So now everything that you gather from me, experiment with it.
Experiment.
Feel it. Sense it. Mm-hmm. Develop your own technique. Nothing I say is original. What you say to people in your lives, it's not original. It's something you've been taught, something you've heard, maybe heard in passing. Just share and grow.
Share and grow. Take some action on your questions
Right.
and your purpose in life. Take some actions. Once you're aware and know there's something else outside of you, then take some actions on that and learn about why you're here.
That's right.
What feels good to you. I mean, that would seem to be, personal growth seems to be an important part of this whole ascension process, at least the very beginning phases of it.
There's a comedian currently named Wanda Sykes.
Oh, I love her.
Oh, good. And she brings laughter to people who have been struggling with all kinds of topics. And she brings that element of laugh at yourself, laugh at other people. It's not laughing at them to hurt, it's laughing because it opens a portal to another dimension, another thought wave.
I mean, and us human beings, it can be so serious and so intense. I mean, this one for sure. It's like, I just have to learn to laugh at things. You know, kind of like the pee your pants laugh. We
Yes,
talked about that
yes.
last time, didn't we? But it's so good, though.
And you know, the more you laugh, the more you're giving other people the courage to laugh. And so I do things that are strange, often in public. I did a lecture a few years ago to a group of psychiatrists. Hey. And so I went on, kicked my shoes off, undid my belt because I said, I have to be comfortable. And people snickered. But then they were listening to what I'd say next. And so sometimes you have to take what's happening, turn it into a humorous event, so that they laugh at you.
That's called taking advantage of the opportunities, and the opportunities aren't lined up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Skip that one and go to 8. You know, like there's not just a limited amount of opportunities in your daily life
Of course.
or in your lifetime. There's like a multitude, an infinite number of possibilities and
Yes.
probabilities. And so grab as many of them. If that is your choice as a soul coming in to grab as many opportunities to grow and evolve, then go for it. Not everybody wants to do that.
And that's okay too.
Yeah, you can just stop at the awareness part and then, you know, have fun with that.
So even if you meet a person and they say, well, I want to grow, maybe they want to grow 1/2 of a step.
Yes.
Don't assume I am going to tell them how to do it. You don't fix anyone.
Right, and even if you believe that you know, people come to you for your wise counsel, even what you say, and they do it exactly as you say, the result is going to be exactly different. Just
Oh,
know
yes,
that.
yes, yes.
Just know that. You know, so don't get hung up on your knowledge. That's something I had to learn. You know what I mean?
I'm still learning it.
And look to get validation from
Oh,
people,
yeah, yeah.
or confirmation from people. Like, you know what you know, and if you're able to integrate it and use it to make your life more graceful, that's kind of my purpose. You know, then that's a good thing. But not everybody is wanting to. Everybody has the same rights and abilities as to allow things to happen. We all do, but it's the choosing thing. You know,
Oh,
we gotta
yes.
choose. And we got to get out of the judgment with people because they didn't choose in the way we think they should choose. Like, what is that about?
Or a person says, you know, you've got all that knowledge and I've gathered all of that, but I just don't get it. It's not because you weren't clear. It's not because they weren't clear. They just don't get it.
It's just not time.
It's okay.
Yeah, that is that. It's almost like to get to the mountaintop. That's, you know, an old analogy. I mean, there's like, you know, so many rocks and pebbles and stones that you can climb up and slide down and all of that. So it's not even like there's a definitive path. The definitive path is you're here on Earth, you incarnated. So there you go. We are a free will.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, it doesn't appear that we're a free will society, but I gotta laugh at that one. But, you know, don't forget, we really are. Free will is the deal.
And the more you choose to pick your life, pick your lifestyle, pick your associations, not because you think you're going to get something, but because it just feels good.
Because it feels good. And that is a little trigger for me, because thinking you're going to get something, like if something happens to you and then all of a sudden you're better, the word that I hear from a lot of people is God did that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just going to add a little layer to that. What about the God inside of you did that?
Exactly.
I mean, because that's part of that ascension process, at least the first couple steps, is you start to
Yep.
recognize light and dark. Where's that light and dark? It comes to the experiences where you get a nice little, oh, that was wonderful. Like, I can't believe you did that fucked up thing to me. Light and dark, right? So you learn the, you know, the moral turpitude of certain things. You learn not to put your hand on the stove unless you want to get burnt. Those kinds of things, right?
Because what we're saying, I think, is that each living being, you have a light inside of you. And that light comes from the spirit world when you were not born. And that light can either grow or fade according to the actions you take. And so the more you evolve in your light, the more other people are going to feel that light because it's energy.
Everything is
And
energy.
then it's spreading the light. And the current process is teaching fear, anger, war. Our job is to build light here in the studio.
Exactly.
I loved walking in the door this morning, and it's different than it was when I first came here and joined up with Renata. It was there, but then it's built over the months, and it feels good walking into the studio.
It's an evolution. Their heart's into this, you know?
And there are some people who are going to walk into the studio and feel tense because it's too much light for them.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to know.
Oh, yes.
Especially for a lot of you that are empathic. And you're
Oh,
awake
yes,
and
yes,
conscious and paying attention, and then someone just really thinks you're crazy. Well, know that you're probably picking up and, reflecting their energy and holding that energy. It's not even yours. So, be conscientious of where you share whatever you're sharing too.
Did I ever tell you what I say to people who call me crazy?
What?
And I get called crazy a lot. I say, how would you recognize crazy if you weren't crazy yourself?
That's true. And the other one is like, fox smells its own hole first.
Yeah.
That seems kind of cruel, but it's actually crude. But it's like they have the energy and they sniff so they can smell. So sometimes we have to like smell our way through things, right? And it depends on other senses.
Oh,
We talk about that all the time.
5 senses, absolutely.
Yeah. How did that workshop go in Japan? Was it good? Was it a 3-parter?
What is beyond good?
Fabulous.
It was fabulous. It was, even though we were doing it online, they're getting used to the concept. I am, and Hiroshi, who handles the cameras and everything, he's got used to it. So it's becoming like we're all in the same room together.
And that's that buildup of energy with the intention.
Energy, light, love.
And it's interdimensional, so
Yep.
it doesn't really have a past, present, or future. That interdimensional energy, it just is, and we can morph into connecting with that energy.
May I share a light story?
Yeah.
This was conveyed to me after the show. Hiroshi, who when I first met him, no one dared touch him. Well, I broke that one down. So there was a new man in the workshop, and Hiroshi, during the broadcast, said to him, I know you're new, and if you were here in the room with me, I'd give you a big hug. And he said, well, actually, the way William taught, the energy of the hug is coming to you. Hope you enjoy it. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing. And it's sharing light. Do your light with your co-workers, your neighbors, the cab driver. Share your light.
Sharing your light is sharing you because all you are is light.
Thank you.
It's sharing you. It's sharing a smile. It's sharing a handshake.
Okay, we've done the show.
I know we can go home. But you are the present. Your presence is the present. That but our mind gets in the way of doubting all of that all the time.
And it's easier for most women because you've got that automatic blend of negative, positive, upper, downer. You've got all of that. It's harder for most men because most men have been taught you're the hunter, you're the gatherer, you're the supplier, and they forget how to interact, how to feel, how to sense, and they put connotations on the slightest thing.
And that runs rampant in just all aspects of our culture.
Oh, God, yes.
But I hear you about the male and female, but we both all have, the anima and animus, the male and the
absolutely.
female. And a lot of the new generation, the new millennials, right? They're really integrated, so they have a balance of the male and female. It's like for the
Yep.
guys,
Yep.
I don't like all that chest hair. Let me shave some of that, I think I look a little pale, so let me get a little concealer flush out my skin. Oh, I'm getting a little tummy thing around here. Let me go get a little spandex thing. I mean, I love that.
Oh,
You know? This is
Wanda
great.
Sykes does a thing about,
Spandex.
she named this, her tummy,
Her tummy. She named her tummy.
Esther.
Esther?
Yeah.
Oh,
And she
Esther?
tells a story. She was on a television show, and Esther snuck out of her space.
She's trying to talk to the audience. I mean, so she draws you into her light and encircles you with her stories.
Perfect, yes.
And that's what we all have the ability to do. If you're giving someone directions, you know, or just saying hi, nice to meet you, it doesn't take a lot. He's still laughing about that.
Well, the more you laugh, the more other people are going to learn. We don't have to feed into fear. We can laugh too.
You can laugh at the fear.
Absolutely perfect.
I mean, you can embrace the fear. It's like nowadays, it's like I'm anesthetizing myself to seeing people wear the mask. And before, I just get kind of pissed. Like, well, why are you doing that? And you can breathe outside.
Kinda?
Yeah, I would get really indignant. And now I'm just like, well, it's totally a choice. And if I could think of something that I could wear that was pretty that would like morph with all my outfits, I'd be having a mask on so quick. But there's just nothing out there like that. So I just
As
kind
a
of.
designer, design one.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not that interested, really.
Yeah, right.
But I'm just saying, I'm finding ways to laugh at the fact that, you know, we've forgotten we get to make a choice until we get so many choices taken away that we've really taken for granted, like breathing fresh air. I mean, okay, breathing fresh air is a good thing. Maybe not ever stop, right?
Truth.
So, yeah, it's just that
And so you men,
idea.
you're working, you're out doing your job. Now bring your light and spread your light. Walk next to the girl that just sits at a computer all day and say, you know, you make that a joy just to watch you.
Oh, that would be a good one. Like,
And
what are you talking
do
about?
little things to spread that light. Your people are going to be more productive. They're going to want to come to work.
Absolutely.
And then that spreads. And now with all of the changes coming economically, you'll all find solutions together.
Finding solutions together. Let's just
Yep.
take a little gratuitous commercial break. So we're doing our second event on May 29th.
Oh,
At the same restaurant. 27th.
I was going to say, I've got
Sorry,
the date wrong.
I know I spoke it wrong, so it happens a lot. 27th, Thursday.
27th, yeah.
So it's our second event, and then at the same time, I've noticed 3 or 4 synchronistic events popping up around the same time. Not on the same day, but people doing at the Adriatic Grill. They're doing a little pop-up event with some vendors and jewelry and that kind of thing. And Adriatic's just up from where I live. And then there's another one in Auburn, Bougie Wellness Fair. They're popping up and doing something different. So I'm just saying, people are catching it. Get out there and start
And that's
mingling.
what this is all about, spreading your light. If your shop is not bringing enough income in, there are solutions. Join one of those events. But I want to go back to the restaurant, the Cochina.
Cochina Mexicana.
And our first night, it was a little quiet at first, but the more we talked with people, an experience happened. And the energy lifted, even among the co-workers. It was an opportunity to share with people, not of like mind, always, but similar mind, of light and love and joy. And so, come out and play with us. It's not something of you have to give up anything. You come to an event like this because it brings you connection with other people.
Because you
And
want to
that
share.
stimulates, yes.
You come because you want to share. And, if any of you out there are like me, I've been a little lonely from just not being able to be out in the public
Oh,
and
God.
talking to people and giving them a little hug and just laughing. And there's just that little serious layer. And I'm just really ready to let that layer dissolve in my life. I'm allowing it to dissolve in my life. And that's an important word, that allow.
Well, did you know that this pandemic, what they
It's hard to say that, even
Oh, God,
isn't
yes.
it? Say it 10 times.
I at
Don't.
this intake age, I'm learning how much I miss the joy of sharing with people. I live alone and I've become borderline depressive.
And you've lived alone for a while by choice, but you traveled a lot doing your work,
And
so
interact with people
you
a lot.
needed that downtime.
Even on an airplane, we'd have fun. I'd walk down the aisle with the hostess and talk to. Oh yeah, we turned everything into fun. You can't do that anymore. But if your name is William, you find a way to do it. Renata,
you
she
create
does it.
You just create that
That's
in
right.
each moment.
That's right.
But there's something about a lot of us being taught that we do not matter. And we do everything and matter.
Yep.
Okay? So you don't have to remember that. You don't have to remember that.
And so also recognize that you men, women in the work field, what you bring is much more than your talent at the computer or at the telephone. You're bringing your manifestation of light, who you are, what you are, why you are. And the more you will interact with people, it doesn't take much to say a nice compliment to the worker who's cleaning your floors. Say, you clean the floors so people like me don't slip and fall on our butts, thank you. And just that little bit of humor lifts them, lifts everyone. It is your job now to make sure that your businesses keep going. Because many of them are failing, and many will fail until you start interacting with joy, light, and love, and let a little crack become a big, big portal.
That's totally true. That's totally true.
Oh, the old preacher came out.
Sometimes I get on that, you're good. I mean, it is a challenge in this day and time not to reiterate the idea that self-love is the most important thing you can embrace for yourself. Did we say self-love is the most important thing you can embrace for yourself? Did I say that, self-love? See, I can go there really easily too, William, and all of us can, because we get that the nugget is just, you matter. You are the valuation of the whole planet. It's all about you.
Now, I want to back this up. I've been going to Japan for almost 45 years. And when I first was going there, you never saw men doing anything with their children.
Interesting.
Nowadays, you see men with babies on their back. You see the men at the park playing with their kids. And that light is evolving.
Yes, it is.
And it doesn't matter what country. And nowadays, we have to overcome our prejudice.
Ooh.
We have to start really working with the concept of world family.
Unity.
Yes, it doesn't matter that you're Spanish, you're Hungarian. It matters that you're a human being and you can live together, love together, and play together. It's okay.
So, the title human being, it didn't say human doing, although human beings
Yeah, I
do be
don't know.
doing stuff, but it's human being, so that means you and you and me. That means all of us. But somehow that formula of sharing your light meant that you could only share that or just share that.
And that's another thing about what we do at the Cucina, is we don't care if it's a Mexican restaurant, but that doesn't mean you have to be Mexican. You can have anybody. We have people from all walks of life, all religions, all colors, and I believe that there are colors of people that come to the events that don't even know they're a different color.
Oh, he just threw one there, didn't he?
Yeah.
I won't even tell them about your magic mirror thing you're doing.
Oh.
How'd that go with the Palo Santo? Did that do something?
Oh yeah, well, you see, I'm experimenting. The workshop is Friday.
Is it Friday? Okay.
Yeah, and when we say magic mirror, we're not talking the magic of Wicca. I'm not knocking Wicca. I'm just saying our approach is not about magic. It's about light magic.
Right, which when you embrace the synchronicity of that is pretty friggin' magical.
Oh, yes.
You know, and again, that's that interdimensional energy that we are plugging into now en masse. That's part of that ascension.
Well, even in my books, I'm always saying it doesn't matter what religion you grew up as. You can still be a member of your religion. You're not giving up your religion by coming and visiting with us.
Mm-mm.
And so people are breaking down the barrier of, if you're not a Christian, you're not a good person. If you're not a Jew, you're not a good person. People are seeing it don't matter.
It don't matter to me what you're searching for. You were born to be free. Oh, that was pretty good. So we were talking about ascension. I mean, a little bit. I was like weaving that in there. And so, like light and dark, knowing the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And then that fourth one is you're talking about that religion. And boy, I better grow up Christian, or else I'm going to create some awful karma. I hear people throw that word around, karma, all the time, and maybe we differ on that. But I'm feeling like as we ascend, you clean the slate of karma.
Absolutely,
And
I
if
support you.
If you don't learn from that, then you can create some more.
And come back.
And come back
and
again. And, you know, there's all that going on. But pretty much you can have a clean slate. That's kind of what's going on now with this stopping point that we've been given. So make sure before you yell at somebody or curse at somebody or judge somebody about interacting with this new story that's not anybody's but that little 2%, I got to get that in there.
Of course you do.
Okay. You're okay. You know, come back and go, well, there's no reason I'm supposed to like this story. And I may be a little lost about what I'm going to create, but
A lot of Asians teach love all life. It doesn't mean you have to like all life.
Yeah.
My grandmother was Mongolian, and she always said, I love everyone. I don't take them to bed with me.
She was deep. That's a good thing. I've also heard that little saying, you lay down with dogs, you wake up with fleas.
Oh, yeah, well, that's another thing. I'm
I
not
know.
going there.
I know. I mean, there's so many interesting things, like to hell in a handbasket. That's an interesting one.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Isn't it? Can you imagine that? To hell in a handbasket. That'd be kind of uncomfortable. Like, what size handbasket? Do we get the right dimensions?
And is it woven?
Is it woven? And what about the fire under there? Is it like leather or is there like some stone? We're being really silly, but you get the point though, right?
And so back to the concept. I don't care if you're a housewife. I don't care if you're a manager of a major corporation. Bring joy, light, and love, or your business is going to slowly but surely go downhill because the world is being recreated. So you can
Right.
recreate it by bringing respect to everyone and everything, not just your customers and how much money they're spending.
Respect to everything, starting with you, and if you forgot you, come back around the corner and bring you into the equation.
Absolutely.
You know, that seems silly to say. I mean, of course we all love ourselves. You know, you take the shower and you get dressed and you go to work and you do your stuff for your family. And of course you love yourself. That's one.
Do you know how many people don't love themselves?
I was going to say that's one display of loving yourself. But, you know, we're not talking about that.
That's right. No.
No. And so, yeah, I mean, I resist that idea that 90% of the population, you know, is not awake and is not interested in evolving to make this a better planet. I'm like, okay. Which includes you're not loving yourself. That's what I would say would that would be. So 90% of the population does not give a shit about you or the evolution
Because
of this planet.
90% of the population, they are so indoctrinated to live up to their local tradition.
And cultural stuff.
And that's what I was saying about the men in Japan. They are breaking away from that tradition of men are hunters, gatherers, suppliers. And they're saying, I'm the mother, I'm the father. And then animals love them. Suddenly, people who are afraid of dogs, the dogs follow them. The birds come and land on their shoulders because they're going, that's a balanced, joyful being. He just happens also to be the CEO of a major company.
And on the other hand, in my household, with my mom, just single mom, raising me, and she was a nurse, went back to school. I got all kinds of benefits, ski lessons, violin lessons. I'm a very diverse, young lady. But my mom kind of broke the mold with, you think you need a man to take care of you and that. And while she would have, loved to kind of stay with my dad and all of that kind of thing, that didn't work out that way. So she, broke that karma, broke that particular mold.
Yes.
And softened at the same time. So it wasn't like the power behind or the strong black woman. I mean, there is that. But there's lots of strong Asian women and lots of strong white women and lots of strong Hispanic women and lots of strong, Irish women and Russian women and Norwegian women.
So back to the thing of it has nothing to do with race.
Nothing.
It has nothing to do with color. It has to do with
energy.
Respect all life, not just respect black life or white life.
No, all
Yes.
white. I mean, respect all human beings.
Some of the most powerful bearers of light have nothing to do with color. I used to work with a singer. Most of you have never even heard of her, but her name was Odetta, and folk singer, 1,000 years ago in this lifetime. And she sang about light. She sang about love. And she sang about, hey, I have idiosyncrasies. There's nothing I haven't done, she'd say. But she did it in love.
And respect for herself.
Yes.
I mean, like, RuPaul says, how in the heck you going to love anybody else if you don't love yourself? I just love that.
Oh, and it's truth.
Because it's like you can't, yeah, that's preaching.
And your love
okay.
in this current era has nothing to do with how much money you have. It has nothing to do with where you live. And there are people in our country of the United States who pick their friends according to the address that they live in.
True.
Yes.
However, I'm saying that never mind. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to leave it alone. I was going to say something about having friends. It's like, well, your friend has some things and they share with you. That's a cool thing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's like, there's benefits.
But some of my friends, as you well know, some of them have nothing.
Yeah.
And yet they're very loving, good people.
Very loving,
good people.
It's not
about where they live or how they live.
But you can make it totally about that. You can make it totally about that, and a lot of people do in that early stages of waking up, learning to claim responsibility for every single thing you do, and that's really challenging because sometimes you get that fault. It's my fault that this happened. Like, no, it's not about fault.
Well, what you just said, a lot of people say, well, what's going to create a crack in my consciousness?
There you go. That's
Well, how about when you're bending down to pick something up and you hit your head on the side of the refrigerator?
Oh my gosh, that is like the biggest wake-up call when you
That's
weren't
right.
present, you weren't paying
Open up,
attention. Exactly.
Yes.
You don't have to wait for the voice to speak to you from above because the voice is right here and it will speak to you
Absolutely.
clearly when you allow yourself to hear. We get back to that word allow.
Allow, and then allow again.
Allow, like I say, love the good, bad, ugly, and all in between in terms of self-love. Like, don't just love the part of you that's kind of pretty on a pretty day. Love the part that's kind of, not so pretty on a not so pretty day. Because we have a lot of those not so pretty days.
Yeah, I live in
Outwardly.
that 24 hours a day.
With your level of pain in that. So really, it's the morphing of that energy as it moves through you that's super important.
When I was a kid in high school and in first couple of years of college, I was told, you're short, you're already losing what little hair you had, and you're never going to be successful because you look like a dump. That
How'd
kind
that
of thing
work for
stays
him?
with you.
Doesn't it?
And I became very successful, in case you didn't know that.
I know. Interesting, though. So it's like stories that you tell have an influence.
Oh, sure.
I mean, especially when the story you tell, your intention is to, mess with somebody, and that happens an awful lot, where it's an intentional harm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't realize, in the 40-something years I've been working with Japan and Asia, I've published over 30 books over there.
Mhm.
And they're all about break down the barriers, be yourself, shine your light.
Well, and actually, the Universal Life Alliance, the .org, is all about shifting consciousness one person at a time.
Yes.
And you started that organization in 1976, and I
Yep.
just mentioned that because you were hearting that back then. You know, as part of your process to move forth and heal and be you. Absolutely.
And like I said earlier, it doesn't matter if you're Catholic, if you're Buddhist, if you're Muslim. It matters that you live up to what you believe in, and you can still be a member of Tula, you can be a member of an atheist group. It doesn't matter. It matters that
Or
you
the
live up to what you
YWCA.
believe in.
Or the YWCA. Yeah, it
Yes.
doesn't matter. This is an interesting thing because as we, you know, move up and accept responsibility and know that we can, you know, release our karma, like not create more stuff for ourselves, then we want to like, we've developed ourselves, we've matured. Spiritual maturity has happened a lot for
Spiritual
us
maturity.
after that point. And then
That's your enlightenment. That is your evolution. Yes.
And then the next part though is like recognizing that you can change matter when you send light into, you know, various places of the planet. But it's got to be unbiased. And this was an interesting point that I read. I'm like, ooh, unbiased. So like when you send light, you think that they need, in a war-torn country, you think that they may need food, but I really don't know. But what if they just could use light and love and then transform that to anything they need?
And if you and if you send light and love to Afghanistan, example, they will take that light and love and say, you know, I could grow vegetables in a pot.
And we're speaking like light and love as a commodity. Just like
Oh,
fear
good.
has been used as a commodity to squash and silence, we can use light and love as a commodity to uplift and regenerate. Did you get that?
Because look at the history of the ancient people of all countries of the world. Those people were able to survive, build incredible statues and buildings because they believed in love. They believed in unity, working together. And they've survived when other masses couldn't survive.
And this little billboard that I see every now and then in Tacoma, 1 out of every 6 children in Pierce County goes hungry. And then I
Yes.
said that to you, and you're like, is that global? I think it's Pierce County. And you said, you know, in other countries, Renata, like that's not a challenge just in terms of people having enough food. They make sure it's built into their social system, and they have a place to live. You know, while those aren't just the basics, but still that those things are being addressed. And as I drive down the street, there's that billboard, and I see a vacant building boarded up, or a church all boarded up, or some vacant property with a fence. Or someone spent the money to put a chain link fence around their vacant property. That feels that borders on absurdity to me.
Hi. Yes. My grandmother told how, as part of a nomad group in Mongolia, no one went hungry. No matter what was available, it was shared. Even if it meant being a little hungry yourself, you made sure that everyone in your area had food and shelter.
A friend of mine, when I used to own the store, and we would go over to McDonald's, it was behind us, you know, and we said, you know, sometimes people sitting out there, you know, don't need you to preach to them, you know, go get a job. Sometimes you're the hamburglar, like, you know, we just buy them, you know, 'cause you need some food. I can buy you a burger and some coffee. That's good. I don't have to preach to your butt. You know where you're at, or you're not at, you know?
You know, when people come up to me, not always, but they come up to me and say, do you have a couple dollars? I say, no, but come on over here to Wendy's and I'll buy you lunch.
Mm-hmm. On any given day, it depends. If I feel like I've got, you know, 50 or so in my pocket, I'll share. If I don't, I'll do a food thing. But at the very, very least, I'll stop and have a conversation. Like, how you doing today?
Beautiful.
I'll even hug them.
And
I'm
that is their crack.
And I'll smile. You know, because people like to be seen and heard. Like, just because you're homeless and maybe a little disheveled doesn't mean that your light is, maybe it's a little dimmer, but doesn't mean you don't get to have a hug or
And
a smile.
a lot of homeless people, their light is bright and clear.
Absolutely. How do we know that they're not the middle, they've chosen to be in the middle of this cesspool to help disperse out because they're not feeling what they need stuff. They want to have that experience of, ooh, how do you shift that for people?
Yep.
And they're in there shifting. And one of our viewers just said they like my glasses. Thank you. And I must say to you, these actually are not even glasses. That throws people off. So I found these, traded a friend with them. She had some Oakleys. It didn't fit her. And I had, the other one. So I got the nice Versace's and we switched. But there's no lens in them, but they're cool. Thank you, viewer. I like it.
And like what you like what you don't like. And if you don't like it, don't use it.
I like what you said. Like what you like and like what you don't like.
Yes.
And that's like own the fact that you can be conflicted. So just own what you like or don't like. So you don't have conflict.
Exactly.
A big one is when people like the smoking, like habits. I used to be a cigarette smoker. And I'm like, I don't do that anymore. But I told people, like, well, why would I indulge in a habit and then beat myself up for it? Like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't. Well, that's like, really?
May I tell a personal story?
Yeah.
I love when my hair is shaggy and long, yet people that I know, and again, because I'm somewhat of a public personality, they say, you need a haircut, get this, do that. And it's like, it gets inside. And it takes away a little bit of my light, or I let it. And so you have to get in touch with what works for you and don't impose your belief on anyone.
And that's a really delicate balance. So be gentle with
with
yourself on that one, isn't it? But clearly you get to like what you like and you get to dislike what you dislike. I just would encourage you not to be in conflict about that.
Perfect statement.
Not to be in conflict about that.
It's just human.
It's just a preference.
Yes.
I mean, we all prejudge. We're all prejudiced. We have a preference. I have a preference
yes.
pretty clothes and blonde hair sometimes. And sometimes I have a preference for, longer purple wigs or shorter ones. And you've all seen me do different things. So I have a preference in being able to manipulate and shift Renata any way that she wants to.
You're one of the
on a
most
dime.
shifting,
On a dime.
adaptable people I've ever known. And I've known a few people.
Yeah, I'm probably not the last. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Life belongs to you.
Yes.
Don't compare yourself to anyone or anything. If you want to be a successful businessman, don't judge yourself. Just do it.
Just do it. Now, this other little part that we're talking about as we start to know we can clear our slate of karma and then we can change matter. When you, and I've been practicing this one too because it's interesting, that unbiased sending light. Just that unbiasedness, because I'm thinking, send peace. Well, okay, maybe it's not about the peace, but sending the essence of light. What does that feel? Oh, like a good feeling. You can send that.
Good statement.
You can just send, that morning you woke up like, oh, it's a great day. That's a package of energy just as well as you could wrap it up in a bow, put a stamp on it, and send it in the mail.
And an exercise I teach. Now, I'm not able to do it as clearly at this point because of some injuries, but you put your hands over your
I can
head
demo. Hands over the head.
and then you pull that light down because the light is flowing
this.
into you from the universe.
And then you're surrounded. And that'll be one of those little that we'll demo or share at the event so that people can take home some actual tools.
Oh, good statement. Yes.
We want them to take home actual tools, which is their light, just to deflect back to them, did you know how magical you were?
Well, also, I used that, not now, but years ago, when I'd be standing in line, waiting to get my right to get on the airplane, and too many people were too close, I'd do the exercise, and they would scatter.
Okay, I betcha. And sometimes you would just energetically do that exercise visually and not.
Oh, yeah. And then I'd be at the front of the line.
When I'm in the mall and it's like there's all these people around, ooh, I'm like 3-foot shield all the way around straight through, and all of a sudden people just move out of my way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just move out of my way.
Spread your light. But then light beings, plants, animals, people, will be attracted to you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So know that. I mean, just
And embrace
know
that.
But that idea of that sending light to unbiased places, so let's all start practicing that one now.
And the thing is, like a healer, not you, not me, we're healers, but
But were you talking to our audience too?
the idea is the healer is there to fix you, but they're there, to give you energy to fix yourself.
To turn the mirror on you so you can see where the small cracks are and you can make them bigger.
Yes. I had a friend, and she was a fairly known psychic healer. But her challenge was that she expected to see an obvious result. And so her people
confirmation.
wanted an obvious result. Sometimes, and here's where you and I disagree on karma, sometimes there's a karma that has to be allowed to just manifest. And so the illness could be not something that can be fixed, but how they deal with it is the healing that they get.
I totally agree with you on that. I'm not sure
Oh, good, thank you.
we disagree. I mean, honestly, that's the whole point. Sometimes the disease doesn't even need to do anything.
That's right.
No, but sometimes you will knock the leg from underneath it, and so the conflict that you have about sharing your light and being on this planet is eliminated, and then you can go. And
Yes.
sometimes you decide to stay, and sometimes you decide to stay with the impediment or the disease, but you're like graceful. Dalai Lama.
Oh, yes.
You look at that, it's like, well, how did he die?
Yeah.
Why did he die? He's Dalai Lama. Well,
Because he died.
there you go. So this is not about immortality, although in this next level of ascension, that's one of the other ones, you can heal your body. Absolutely. Totally can heal
yes.
your body. And again, it's not about if you have a broken leg, you can heal that. Go get that broken leg fixed, but it may fix itself a lot quicker.
And many of you know I've had many serious injuries. And yet my doctors years ago told my kids when they were little, he might live 10 years. And that was 50 years ago. Because you heal yourself. It's an
You
attitude.
do.
I still have challenges walking, but I still walk.
Absolutely.
Slowly.
Yeah. So no, the idea of being able to call forth your own grace, to sit upon your grace plate and go, okay, I get what this is about.
Your cards.
Yeah, I get what this is about. And then I'm going to have Max pull one for us, though, because Max does that so well, get a connection for all of us. And then all of a sudden you're not focused on that, and other things come into your life, and also you look back and like, wow.
And for all of you, these cards that Renata designed, get some of her cards.
It's just a way to kind of pay attention,
We
for the
all
day.
can use things to
It's just
pay
it's just a focus.
So don't think, oh, well, I have to only be
Thank
with
you,
Renata
Max.
when that. No, get a deck for yourself.
Yeah,
that
and
you
then
made.
and if you're interested in learning how I use divination or cards,
yep.
At the event, bring your deck. We'll have some fun with it. Give you some different ways. I'm gonna go ahead and turn over.
Yeah, and Renata's got some classes coming up. They have to be online at this point, but hey, you can join online. There's Meet, there's Zoom, there's Skype, there's always. Hey, there are no limitations unless you limit yourself.
And I love how the synchronistic time frame works for us, because the card that Max pulled was. You want to read it?
Don't claim it, reframe it.
And it's a 9.
Yeah.
You know, so 9 is that closure. Coming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're finished, about ready to start over again. And so don't claim stuff that doesn't feel good. Reframe it. Reframe it. Let more light in through that crack.
Because the 9, the ending, is actually the guarantee that there's a new beginning.
Yes, and you know, we are on this move of making more humanitarian gestures, more, you know, in fact, that ascension, as you integrate, you're more interested in creating win-win scenarios for others because you know you're already included in the process.
Perfect.
Because you're coming from a place of heart.
Heart.
Absolutely. And then the card that we got was the Jack of Clubs, which is about the mental acuity.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really see that as being, you know, blend in that energy with your ability to kind of be the salesperson and be out there talking because the Jack, the Joker, you know, may have some fun. That's the new up leveling for humanity. Like, have some fun with this stuff and don't take yourself seriously because you are that and a bag of chips.
I love that it was said a few years ago by someone, in the spirit world they don't have televisions and movie theaters. They just take a break and watch human beings and laugh.
I know. Should I think I want to share that little thing about the Renata Limited. Is that
Oh,
right?
please.
So a couple of days ago, I was online. I was doing something. And I saw this company, Renata Limited. I'm like, who's Renata Limited? Who's got my name? So I looked them up. Oh my gosh. They were a division of Pfizer Pharmaceuticals, and they got sold, and their name ended up to be Renata Limited. And guess what they handle? Vaccines. I thought, oh, and they're in another country. They're not around here, maybe in Germany. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought that was so funny because I'm like, you know, that's not me. You got it. You cracked up. And those of you that get it, I'm not going to try to explain more, but it was interesting, this whole interdimensional thing that's happened.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
And the part about what you said, you know, the gods just don't have TV, so they just do some silly shit to make us laugh.
Yeah,
Catch
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And that was, I just cracked up, like, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
I was just laughing. I thought that was great. What's going to be great, though, is when all of us recognize how valuable we are to this matrix, this new creative matrix, and we're just stepping into the new world as we kind of breathe it.
And if you want, you can be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think something or someone is going to fix everything. It's all of you working together, living together, playing together
Mm-hmm.
that are going to make the new world.
Yes, as we speak.
Yep.
Don't wait for people to come knocking on your door. It's not going to happen. Sometimes the straightest path is through the front door. Open your own door.
Yes.
You like
Yes.
that one, I could tell. He was like, you like that one, open your own door. It's true, though.
Okay.
It feels like it's buy time again, isn't it?
Isn't it amazing? There is no time. There is no space. Not anymore.
Come spend a couple of hours with us, though, at the end of the month. So it's Thursday, May 27th, at Cochina Mexicana Restaurant. They've got some good snacks there and some beverages. And they've given us half of the restaurant because they loved what we did the first time. So we're going back again. Thank you so much, Brenda, and your whole family for allowing us to
Yes,
use
yes,
your
yes.
restaurant. So we'd love for you to come down. We don't even have, you know, it's just a donation if you can do that. If not, it's not a big deal.
Oh, actually, just their presence is a donation.
Well, your presence really is a donation because we are the light, and if we just kind of stay and hoard that light, no one really is going to benefit from that. And we need to kind of shake things up and move
yes.
things out and make that crack a little bit bigger so more light shines through it.
Bigger and bigger and bigger.
So we would love to see all of you. Really.
Come play.
Yes.
Yes.
6 to 8 p.m. And go to our website, www.theuniversallifealliance.org,
All one word.
and it's right across the screen, so write that down if you've got a short memory, okay?
If I had bothered looking at the screen, I'd
Well, he
see
just put it
that.
up there. You're okay.
Oh, okay.
He just did it. Max is really good about tracking things for us, so if I just say it, then he pops it up there. Thank
Well,
you,
can
Max.
meet Max if you come to the 27th.
Right, Max is our video guy. I guess I can call you a video guy, huh? Okay. Not confuse you with that Jim Carrey guy. What was that movie that he was so crazy? TV guy or something? He was just... It's an old movie, but Jim Carrey was kind of a funny guy.
Yeah.
And he would... Yeah, it's okay. So come check us out. So we usually say goodbye now.
Okay. Enjoy, and if no one around you is enjoying, do something, show something that makes them giggle.
Right, and you can even do it in your mind's eye. Like you can send them a funny.
Yes.
And you can just think about a funny and then like, I'm just send a funny over there.
And how often have you said, I don't even know where that thought came from, but it cracked me up.
I know that spirit working with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it could have been the thought from a loose Renata.
I like that. Loose Renata, you nut. He's a nutty guy.
Yep.
You're a nutty guy. Can I have a hug, nutty guy?
No.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we love all of you. We'll see you Thursday. William, me, and Max. And I think Chris, too, will all be there. And
Yep.
then, our little guests. And we'll be having some fun talking. And we'll see you next week, though, for sure, okay?
Take care.
Auf Wiedersehen.